This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch on this Friday, December 12th. I'm Ephraim Graham. Going to begin this half hour with news from the Middle East. As Hanukkah approaches, a video of 6 murdered hostages was released showing them celebrating the Festival of Lights in a tunnel in December of 2023. And a new study shows a majority of the journalists and media workers killed during the war were tied to terror organizations. CBN's Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more on our top story. She's reporting from Jerusalem.
The majority of Palestinians described as reporters based in Gaza who were killed during the war were operatives with or closely connected to terror groups, a new study published Thursday shows. The Meir Amit Intelligence and Terrorism Information Center investigated 266 Palestinians identified as journalists or media workers killed in Gaza from October 7th of 2023 through November 30th of this year, and found around 60%, at least 157 of them, were either members of terror organizations or clearly connected to them, 104 with Hamas and 45 with Islamic Jihad. A key point of the report is that some of the reporters based in Gaza helped with military actions or propaganda for Hamas's information war. Also here in Israel, just a few days before Hanukkah, the IDF released a sad and haunting film of 6 hostages, including Israeli-American Hersh Goldberg Polin. The captives are seen lighting Hanukkah candles and praying, singing, and celebrating the holiday in a tunnel in December 2023. Almog Sarusi speaks.
Happy holidays to us and all of the people of Israel. May we celebrate every year. May we be happy and blessed. And with the help of the miracles that came on this holiday, may we go home with a big miracle. May we return to routine life. May we be happy and good. And may we all rejoice. Amen.
Dubbed the Beautiful Six, their captors filmed them, saying happy holidays and playing cards. The IDF reportedly recovered hours of footage of Hersh Goldberg Polin, Carmel Gott, Eden Yerushalmi, Almog Sarusi, Ori Danino, and Alex Lubonov, filmed by Hamas in late 2023, but not released by the terror group. In August 2024, their captors murdered all 6 in a Rafah tunnel. The IDF found them 2 days later. The families of the 6 released a statement saying, "Lighting Hanukkah candles in that dark place captures the essence of the Jewish spirit, light prevailing over darkness. Hamas filmed these videos as propaganda, but the humanity of the beautiful 6 shines through this footage." Meanwhile, Hamas says it will store its weapons for now, but Israel says that's not enough.
They will be disarmed, Gaza will be demilitarized, and the people of Gaza will be de-radicalized. As stated directly in the 20-point plan, Hamas and other terror factions will not have any role in the governance of Gaza, directly, indirectly, or in any form.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell is joining us now to continue our coverage from Jerusalem. So, Chris, former Israeli ambassador to the United States, Gilad Erdan, delivered a stark warning to the United States. What did he say?
Well, he was speaking in Washington, D.C. this week, Ephraim, and he warned that security in Qatar can't coexist. What he said was that Qatar, on the one hand, funds Hamas, but on the other hand, it presents itself as a partner for peace. It promotes the Muslim Brotherhood. It shelters Hamas leaders in its capital of Doha. And he warns that their strategy, what it is to use soft power and lots of money to reshape Western policy but protect itself from any accountability. So he's warning Qatar is trying to move in the Gaza ceasefire to phase 2. What that would do, Ephraim, was leave Hamas fully armed, in power, and this all would lead to an undermining of Israel's security.
In Damascus 2 days ago, Syrian troops shouted about a long-ago battle named Kabar. Why is that significant?
Well, they shouted, Kabar, Kabar, O Jews, the army of Muhammad will return. Now, Kabar refers to a massacre of Jews all back in the 7th century in 628. And the chant denotes a desire to finish the job and kill the Jews. And so that's what the chant is all about. It's a call for genocide. They also chanted about rescuing Gazans from Israelis. And this was all attended by the new president, al-Shara. And why it's significant, Ephraim, is it represents what some believe is an Islamist regime and an Islamist army emerging inside Syria, not the kind of moderate government that some in the West believe is emerging. The U.S. Congress also just removed sanctions on Syria that had been imposed by the former regime of Bashar Assad. So what people are saying, this could be the emergence of a jihadist regime that's also backed by Turkey. Israeli Minister Amichai Chikli believes now Syria and Turkey together represent even a greater threat than Iran does.
Chris, House Speaker Mike Johnson met with a leader from Judea and Samaria. What was that meeting about?
Well, Speaker Johnson met with a man named Yossi Dagan. He's the head of the Samaria Regional Council. Dagan was there to meet with members of Congress and White House officials and advocate for the sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, what the world calls the West Bank. But Johnson, he's visited Judea and Samaria. As Speaker, he says the Bible's clear, Judea and Samaria are the land of Israel. He says, I don't understand why we debate this anew every day. Dagan said, no other nation has any deeper connection as the Jewish people do to the land of Israel. It's where the prophets Jeremiah, Amos, Ezekiel, and others foretold that one day the people of Israel will return to their land, rebuild on the hills of Samaria, plant vineyards, and produce wine. And those prophecies are happening as we speak.
All right, before we let you go, what's ahead today on Jerusalem Dateline?
Well, we have update stories on the latest here in Israel. We also have a story, as we were just talking about Speaker Johnson, on Judea and Samaria. Mike Evans, the leader of the Friends of Zion Museum, made a bold declaration about why the White House should actually declare sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. Also a story called Ignite the Truth. It's a Bible study from the land of the Bible by Bridges for Peace, and also a story on Charlie Kirk's new book. It's called Stop in the Name of God. It's a book about observing the Sabbath. And also Hanukkah is just going to begin, I believe, Sunday night. And that video that Julie showed is really haunting, but a real affirmation of the Jewish spirit, especially just on the eve of Hanukkah.
All right, our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell, thank you as always for your insights. Looking forward to checking back in with you come next week. I want to remind you at home, you can get the latest from Jerusalem Dateline at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News Channel. You can also find it on the CBN News app as well as YouTube. Here now is a look at some stories making headlines in the CBN newsroom at this hour. Flooding reaching historic levels for residents in the western part of Washington state. An atmospheric river is causing the rivers to swell, causing major flooding. Vehicles and houses are affected from severe downpours, and rescuers have helped residents who are stuck in those floodwaters. Heavy rainfall is expected for several days along the coast. The FBI is warning of a criminal group that targets and extorts children online to make them commit violent acts. The agency calls the group 764, and they label it a terrorist organization. Anonymous members target vulnerable teenagers online and convince them to send private information and sexual images. They use the material to pressure the teenagers into harming themselves or others and live stream it the entire time. The Senate is working on a proposal to outlaw this activity. Australia now has a total ban on social media in schools. Here in the United States, lawmakers are considering taking action as well. CBN's Capitol Hill correspondent Michelle London is on this story.
No other nation has taken such sweeping measures as Australia. And rolling out this tough new law has legislators closely watching across the globe, including here in Washington.
The measure bans children from 10 platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, and TikTok. Its goal is to shelter children under 16 from addictive algorithms, online predators, and digital bullies. In the U.S., Senators Dick Durbin and John Cornyn are showing interest.
I think protecting children is an avenue that should be pursued. I won't rule out some sort of limitation in sales or distribution.
I think we ought to look at what Australia is doing, for example, and requiring access to these social media platforms.
We have to make sure that not only our children see that we have their backs on these issues.
Also on Capitol Hill, Tamia Woods, who lost her son to sextortion and other online harms, are calling on members of Congress to fight for similar protections.
James never spoke to anyone. He had a wonderful, wonderful community that had his back, but yet he never spoke up.
The Senate Judiciary Committee heard her testimony as members work to make sextortion illegal under federal law.
It's laws like this that would back our children and influence them to speak up and let them know that they're being victimized.
Lauren Coffrin has worked with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. She sees recent social media trends targeting young people.
The imagery, the videos, the chats that we are seeing and reading are the most graphic that I have ever seen in my 20-year history. We are hearing from law enforcement out in the field who have said that this is the most disturbing content as well.
It was a high-pressure extortion.
Earlier this year, CBN News talked to John DeMay, whose 17-year-old son Jordan committed suicide after a sextortion incident on Instagram.
They wanted him to pay $1,000 or they're going to send it to all of his friends and family and ruin his life.
John is working with Senators Chuck Grassley and Marsha Blackburn to pass the Kids Online Safety Act.
That was Michelle London reporting. Senators Grassley and Ranking Member Dick Durbin introduced 3 bipartisan bills to address online child extortion. One would update federal sentencing guidelines, target violent online criminal networks, and crack down on sextortion threats. Coming up, 2025 could go down as the worst year on record for church closures. You're going to meet a pastor whose church is bucking this trend, and you're going to hear how lowering barriers and reaching beyond walls can revitalize congregations. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. This could be the worst year on record for church closures in America. As many as 15,000, many of them in rural areas, may be shutting their doors. In North Carolina, one small church is bucking this trend with a story of redemption and revival. CBN reporter Brody Carter reports.
In towns like this across rural America, churches aren't just places of worship. They're the heartbeat of the community. But in America, that pulse is fading. Here in Gates County, North Carolina, several churches have closed their doors, but this one seems to be opening their doors much wider.
We're in a small town, dude. Right?
Everyone knows
everybody knows everybody.
Right.
You live in a fishbowl if you're a pastor here.
Gatesville, North Carolina. Population 250, sits just south of the Virginia line. Roughly half of its residents attend the Upper Room, an Assemblies of God church on the edge of town. A short drive through Gates County reveals a landscape of faith in transition.
Probably 5 right now that on paper are open and have closed, and there's a couple that have just literally closed and shuttered the doors.
On the outside, restored sanctuaries and shining stained glass may look like revival. Yet across parts of rural America, looks can be deceiving.
The caretaker group will care for this building. They'll keep the grass cut, and they'll make sure the roof is fixed. So it'll be an edifice. It's a museum. Just something that Jesus did generations ago.
Nationally, as many as 15,000 churches could close this year alone, with the National Council of Churches estimating 100,000 closures in the coming years. Mainline Protestant and Catholic parishes are hit the hardest.
Based upon the best data I have, 2025 may be a year when we'll see what I think will be the most churches closed in any one year.
Tom Rayner, CEO of Church Answers, has helped churches on the brink for nearly 40 years.
We at Church Answers cannot keep up with the number of consultation requests for revitalization. We can send resources, but for those who want us there at the church to look at it, we simply cannot keep up with it. That's telling me that these churches know that there's a problem more than ever.
Rayner, an early leader in church revitalization, created the Hope Initiative, a model used across denominations to restore struggling congregations. He sees 2 critical warning signs that led to this year's tidal wave of closures.
Once you see a church that has no evangelistic intentionality, no gospel centrality, along with a self-serving motive, you can pretty much be guaranteed that that church is in a decline, perhaps near death or perhaps dead. We call the category of near death moribund, M-O-R-I-B-U-N-D. And it's a weird name, but it just means really, really sick.
Inside the Upper Room, though, it's a different story. And the pastor's own journey serves as a testament to the renewal.
Think about this, Brody. I met Jesus in prison. So everything we call the church, I had never seen before, right? My church was in a cell block with 4 or 5 other believers and the Word of God.
In the late 90s, before Christ entered his life, Eric Earhart spent 4 years behind bars for drug distribution. That's where he says God gave him a vision to open a church.
So we ended up launching this church. I'm the founding pastor. We're 3 miles from the prison camp that I was released from.
As a church that's undergone the Acts 2 journey, an Assemblies of God revitalization model, Pastor Earhart is a prime example of what a church can do if they lean into where God is leading them.
Revitalization is predicated on lowering the barriers to entrance, that their heart becomes tender to the fact that right outside those doors, there's people who are desperate for hope. They're desperate for Christ and they've never even heard his name before.
While thousands of America's churches are closing, Pastor Earhart believes that by lowering barriers and reaching beyond his walls, faith can still transform a community, even in a town of just 250. Reporting in Gates County, North Carolina, Brody Carter, CBN News.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Merv, it's a new holiday romantic comedy with a unique character at the center of heartbreak. It's a dog named Merv.
Okay, Merv, I have something to tell you.
Summarize the premise for those who have not seen it yet.
So Zooey Deschanel and Charlie Cox are a couple that have broken up, but they share custody of their dog, Merv. And Merv's depressed because they're broken up, and so they set out on a little journey to try to help Merv get over his depression.
The thing is, me and Russ broke up. You're gonna be okay.
What do you think sets this film apart from any other holiday film?
I think that one of the things that we loved about this film is that it's a holiday film in the sense that it is set at Christmas, but that's not the whole spin of the movie.
You've been a miserable drip lately. No, I haven't. Really enjoying being by myself right now. I'll see you next week. I love you, bud.
Merv?
What's your first reaction after reading the script when it lands in your lap?
I'd been really craving doing a romantic comedy that was character-driven.
Are you okay?
Don't want to play fetch. Don't want cuddles.
Dogs are very sensitive to anything that throws their routine, like a breakup.
You think Merv is depressed because we broke up?
Where are the rom-coms? Because, like, that's all anyone seems to want to watch, and they're watching the same ones over and over again, and no one's making them.
Yep.
And so I was really happy to see one, and then Jess was attached to direct, and I was like, be my best friend, because she's the best, and then Charlie came on board.
Honestly, these two are the best team, and I have never, ever giggled so much, laughed so much.
We did kind of take each other, the three of us took each other hostage for the duration of the movie, you know, away from our families, and just had a blast.
Oh, no. What are you doing here? You've turned up dressed like some weird lady spy.
We both know he's happiest when we're all hanging out together.
I don't know that.
Patricia, why did you like it?
I just think it's holidays. We always look forward to the new Christmas movie. There's always some batch of new ones coming out, and this is one the whole family can watch. And, you know, you just pour your cocoa, throw a blanket over everybody, and sit down and just really enjoy the movie and be reminded to be grateful for family and for relationships and for all the blessings that, you know, we've been given.
What do you think this particular film around the holiday different? I think we all have our go-tos this season comes. Why do you think people will be adding this one to our go-to list now?
One close-up of Gus, who plays Merv, and you're finished. I mean, if you don't love that mugshot, then forget it.
I think I still have feelings for Russ. Anna, you're perfect together. Maybe Merv could stay in my room tonight?
Oh, no, sorry, Sally's just falling asleep. I'm sleepwalking.
Zoe, what's it like to play opposite a dog with a broken heart?
Well, you know what? Gus is extremely professional, very serious actor. I love the concept of this film because I think
it's not something I'd ever seen before. I love romantic comedies, but the idea of one about a couple that shares a dog, I thought that was just really fresh.
I just want to be someone.
You still have feelings for him?
We're just two people who share a dog.
You share a dog. It's a red flag.
You look sad. Well, I hate to break it to you, but you can barely see.
I don't need to see it, honey. I can feel it.
Do you have a hope for the film now that the world is about to see it?
There's something really important at the heart of the movie, which is that it is a romantic comedy, but it's about a couple who've broken up, but also who can't have children, which I think is... I haven't personally seen that story before, because a lot of stories about people not being able to have kids are kind of really serious, tragic stories set with gowns in hospitals, and that's not a huge part of the movie, but it's an element of it. And actually, I think there's something really unusual and quite important in putting those stories that affect so many people out.
Merv wants to communicate. This could be a window into his trauma.
What's he saying?
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
It's lovely to find a script that's is going to be comfortable for everybody. Something that has a lot of love and hope and forgiveness in it. I mean, it's a story of redemption. About a relationship that is that is healed through the unique perspective of a dog.
Sweet film produced by Roma Downey and Merv is available right now on Prime. Stay with us. Your Friday Faithful is coming up next. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Time now for your Friday Faithful, and today I want to leave you with a simple reminder. The gift of Christmas is indeed a miracle, but it's not God's first and it's not God's last. Miracles are God's nature, and He's performing them daily. Push pause on your life for a moment and take a good look around you. You will see miracle after miracle after miracle. And here's the good news. The miracles you see are a reminder God can deliver the miracle you need. That is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there as well as online, cbnnews.com. Let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X. We'll see you back here Monday. Goodbye. God bless. Thank you for watching.